As a young child, I first developed my deep attachment to fiber. I carried my blanket everywhere. So that I could attend school without my blanket, my wise parents gradually cut away my blanket 1 4-inch square at a time. I have been trying to piece that blanket back together ever since. Following in the footsteps of a grandmother who was an excellent seamstress, I began to sew pieces of cloth together at the age of 9. I loved going to the fabric store with her. Now I have my own stash comprised of hundreds of my own hand-dyed colors. I pieced my first quilt in 1980. I continued to make quilts throughout the next 25 years while raising children and establishing a psychotherapy practice. Here is a commission I did in 2006. Deep into summer, first fall, 36 by 52 inches, won a prize at Houston's International Quilt Festival. Making quilts, I quickly learned, is a time-consuming endeavor, and if I was to continue making them, I knew I needed to commit to learning all that I could to make them well, to make them beautiful, to make them interesting. In 2007, I began a course of study with Nancy Crow at her teaching facility in Lancaster, Ohio. Nancy's gift to her students is an expectation of excellence, a gift which has guided my work for the past 13 years. At the Crow Barn teaching facility, I learned the lessons of composition and fell in love with hard-edged geometric construction. From here to there measures 42 by 63 inches. My neighbor, Robert Erskine, is an accomplished oil painter. In 2012, he tossed an offhanded question to me, a question that fundamentally shifted my work. He asked, "What makes your work yours?" My first thought was of my long-deceased father's handwriting. I would recognize his script anywhere, and while I had long been employing threads of various widths in my work, it was with Stonehenge-ish that line quality became a dominant field of exploration for me. Sketchy lines have now left the confines of shape. Energy enters the composition. By this time, in 2013, I was dyeing all of my own fabric and was firmly embedded in the world of abstraction. Beckoning 2 is another in a series built on the horizontal or vertical arrangement of rectangles, a motif which has recently reappeared in my work. In Out the Indoor, 58 by 66 inches, another in the series, my lines are beginning to be used as figures in their own right, moving away from mere outlines and lying in juxtaposition to the shapes beneath, in direct opposition. I was delighted when Girl in the City with Blue Hair, 32 by 59 inches, won Best in Show at Quilt National 2015. My work is never consciously content-driven. It is only in the process of making that content is revealed. After a day-long trip to the Art Institute of Chicago in 2014, I was emboldened by the sheer breadth of the work I experienced. I answered another important question. What are you afraid of? The answer came back loud and clear. You can do anything. This is open-ended. In 2014, I began to explore mark making within the context of overall design. These are exercises done in a class with David Hornung, taken at the Crow Barn in 2015. Many of these marks would make their way onto my quilts via a technique known as couching. Here, the drawn pencil line has jumped from paper to fabric via thread. The unexpected beauty of green, a smaller piece at 42 by 25, I am now drawing in the ground with all manner of line quality, using a variety of thick and thin threads and yarns. In 2016, I made And the Skeptic. At 81 by 76 inches, the huge, hulking, slightly slouching blue figure was a departure from the more poetic side which had dominated my work to this point. I felt as though I had truly stepped off a cliff. By this time, I was tired of bumping up against the limits of my tried and true processes. So I was all in when I took an online mixed media class called 100 Drawings on Cheap Paper with Jane Davies. It was liberating and exhilarating. Change was in the air. In these small 9 by 11 works on paper, I could work through ideas quickly and make marks that no sewing machine could recreate. I thought of my painting and textile work as two separate entities. I had no desire to see the paintings recreated in fiber. I could not leave textiles behind for long. In the creating of Juxtaposition 4, XOXO, a childhood memory surfaced. I recalled sitting at my third grade desk during recess, doing pointless and boring handwriting exercises. That small child was trying to make her marks conform. A conversation, 50 by 67 inches, won Best in Show at Quilt National 2019 and now belongs to the International Quilt Museum at the University of Nebraska in Lincoln. The shape on the left makes a reappearance in the work currently in Fiber 2020 at Silvermine Gallery. Objects in this mirror, 67 by 70 inches, is now on view in Fiber 2020 at Silvermine Gallery. It's another departure for me as I begin to explore mark making via surface design with thickened dye. My painting and textile worlds are merging. This is From Morning Till Night, measuring 18 by 30 inches. I want to thank the folks at Silvermine Gallery for their many efforts during this difficult time to keep this exhibit alive. You can check out more of my work at karen-schulz.com. Thanks for listening and looking.